Hey everybody, this is Eric Taylor, Big E Astrology. Welcome to my mini astrological coffee talk with Eric. And tonight we're talking about a powerful transit for the final time in our lifetime. So everybody watching on the replay and on YouTube or whatever, hope you guys enjoy this. But we're going to look at Neptune in Pisces. It's from October 22nd to January 26th. But when you're doing a transit chart, you capture the moment it enters. And that snapshot, even though you know the planets are going to be moving, like later on that day, the sun will enter Scorpio. But as this is happening at we'll check at the thing. I think it's 2:51 or 2:41 a.m. Eastern. And it has the Libra sun at 29 degrees. And it's a Scorpio moon. Not really conjunct, but Mars and Mercury and Lilith are conjunct, trining Jupiter in Cancer, and then Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So there's a very clear message from God, Source, Creator, and these planets, and we're going to break it on down. Obviously, the benefit for you guys being here is I'm not going to do all 12 ascendants, but we can talk about, for you guys that are here, your personal ascendant in terms of where your Pisces house is, in terms of what you may experience literally for you, okay? I think that's important. And everybody in the replay, you'll just have to hope we talk about your ascendant. But you can look in your house where the Pisces is, and it's very clear. It's not like it's a mystery. I think everybody will be able to figure it out because of what this energy is kind of showing, okay? So here's the chart, and I was right, 2:51. So it's 5:51 Eastern, 2:51 Pacific, and this is October 22nd. So I'll zoom back out so you can sort of see the whole chart, and then we'll zoom in. It's a Virgo rising, so we're having the Saturn, Neptune, and North Node in Pisces in the 7th house, which in itself is kind of fascinating because remember, this is the descendant in the birth chart, but it's you in relation to the other half. Now, granted, other parts of the world, the ascendant could be a little bit different, but because of where it is, chances are, even if we were looking at Miami or New York, I'm looking at Arizona here, that it would still be a Virgo rising. Could shift, maybe get into like early Libra, but I think because it's so in the middle, that time difference may not even switch it, okay? So that's something always to consider. So, if you live in a different country, like Murray, for you could bring it up to see, okay, well, what would be the time for me from 5:51 Eastern in, let's say, New York? Well, maybe for you that's, whatever time in the morning or actually it would be in the night, right? For you, Murray. So, you could look that up and then you would see if the ascendant shifted. The reality is what's important with these transits, you guys, is to look at the aspects. Okay, that's more important than us saying this is definitely a Virgo rising. We're really, it's a grid for us to look at, but it's more about the aspects. So that grand water trine is in play, right? You see down here, the Mars. Now remember, this moon's at 9 degrees. So the Scorpio, hold on, let me just get this together. This Scorpio moon at 9 degrees is not really, it's just, remember I say the analogy, it's in the same house, but in a different room. So when it's past 10 degrees, you're not going to understand each other clearly, right? You can misinterpret one another, right? What's for dinner? And you'll be like, oh, who's the sinner? Or, what are you saying? What? You can't, it's just yelling across your house. You don't always hear your friend or your spouse or children clearly. But we definitely have this Mars, Mercury, Lilith conjunction, which, has the Lilith exactly trining the Jupiter in Cancer, okay, which is over here at the 24 degrees. But then, the 28 and 29 of the Saturn, and, they're not far off, right? 5 degrees with the Neptune and 4 degrees just 2 degrees with the Saturn. But the North Node, it's a little off, I would say. I wouldn't put it in that conjunction, okay? So we're really looking at a grand water trine at the time that Neptune is coming back into its home sign of Pisces. Now, just so you know, we'll say, okay, well, what is Neptune? Neptune is Let me go grab, I believe this is Quintella. Neptune, give me 1 second. But just so you guys know, Neptune is our spirituality. It's imagination. It's creativity. It's illusion, confusion, and deception. Okay? There we go. Let me let her in. Neptune is also pharmaceuticals, addiction, escapism. Okay? Neptune is where we delude ourselves, where we're totally lying to ourselves, oh, I'm the best singer in the world, and you can't, even hum a tune, right? Neptune is not just the pharmaceuticals, but it is going to be the drugs, the alcohol, ecstasy, acid, all of it. And it's that escapism that sometimes is not with drugs and alcohol. It can be mentally, right? Because Neptune can bring in depression. It's very nebulous, confusing, and it's literally a fog. So it makes you not see sometimes yourself, or in this case, if we're looking at the Pisces 7th house, it's not letting you see the other half clearly. Now, that other half doesn't just have to be a marriage partner. It can be a business partner, just regular friendships, relationships. But what's the 7th house? Contracts, negotiations, right? In the marketplace. So you're signing papers, you're dealing with legal matters, you're just buying a new car, cell phone, right? These are all 7th house events. And the 7th house, these are the open enemies that we see them coming. So if you see them coming in Pisces with Neptune, Saturn, and the North Node, there can literally be deception from the other half at this time. And why is that so important? Well, because as we're looking at this, remember, just hours later, the sun goes into Scorpio, but right now it's 29 degrees, the critical analytic degree of Libra. Okay, now the sun being in Libra, it's already in its planetary fall, right? Because it's at home in Leo, exalted in Aries, so it falls in Libra. Not a death sentence. Clearly, because Libra, I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but Libra is the wealthiest astrological sun sign. All right, as the young kids say, Libra gets the bag. And think about why. Because they're good at barter and trade. They're good at negotiating. They're harmonious, peaceful, and charming. And Libras are the best listeners, right? And they always present well. They can be very sharp, clean cut. The ladies, the men, right? Aesthetically beautiful, right? It doesn't even mean that they're going to always be an attractive person. That doesn't mean that, right? But they present that way. And people feel from them like, wow, they're so relatable, they're charming, they're pleasant, right? So that's what you need in negotiating contracts or business. Sorry, okay, I'm just keeping it open, my phone on, just in case other people are coming. But, so that's very important. But when you have it at the 29th degree, anything can happen, right? And that's even something that Laura spoke about, last night when you have like Pluto at the 29th degree in Virgo, right? That could be an NDE marker, things like that. So Libra sun at 29 degrees, it can be very explosive in the areas that Libra will deal with at this time. And one thing about the end of Libra season going into Scorpio season, right? We're getting fixated now in autumn, right? So it's like stabilizing the chillier weather, right? The veil is extremely thin. It's the thinnest on October 31st and November 1st, right? That's why you have the Day of the Dead and Halloween, right? That's literally the time where people would speak to the souls that have passed on. The veil is very thin at that time energetically. That's why we have that. So, people don't really get, like, it's, I don't know how it is in other countries, but in America, it's this cutesy holiday, but it's, as I like to say, it's not for joke. It's not a game. You have to be very careful, okay, with what you're dealing with and spirits and entities, because everybody's up and awake and live and dancing on the 31st, okay? It's all the spirits and the souls are like, hey, this is our night, okay? So with this happening on the 22nd, this shift, we've got a lot of support with the Grand Water Trine. So when you have Jupiter in Cancer, right, bringing in the exaltation of our EQ, our emotional intelligence, right, our nurturing, our caring, our protection energy, right, the home, the mother, the ancestors, are the divine feminine, right, also the divine sacred masculine. Jupiter, in the trine, even though you've got Saturn and Neptune there in Pisces, with Mars and Mercury and Lilith, there is this energy of when you initiate your spiritual practice, when you initiate that you're like, I'm going to manifest a new car, a new house, a new spiritual practice, a new boyfriend, girlfriend, maybe a second home. Honestly, the energy on the Libra new moon, because remember, the Libra new moon is the day before at 28 degrees, right? On the 21st. So if you watch that video I did, I was talking about the energy bringing in this new spiritual awareness, right? And even though now it's at 29 degrees, it's still kind of in a cardinal T-square. Jupiter, Sun, the moon is left, but Jupiter, Sun, and Aries and Chiron. Okay? And so there's also at this time a lot of opportunity, right, for healing our childhood wounds. But when you're looking at a T-square, right, you have the two oppositions, so it's the Sun and Chiron, but then they're kind of pointing to the T of Jupiter. So it speaks to, with Jupiter being in the T-square and in the trine, we have to be optimistic. We have to kind of tap into our mother's lineage, right? There may be messages or gifts for us there. We have to expand our nurturing and caring. And what is Cancer? Cancer is all about the feelings. But remember, Cancer Aquarius have this weird relationship with the in conjunction. But think of the mantra like this: because I feel, therefore I know. So Jupiter and Cancer, this year transit, is trying to get you to understand that if you are connected with your intuition and your feelings, that's like what I've been saying for the last year and a half before the election. We've got to become our own media. You need to become the president and leader of your own lives. Don't rely on these outside leaders in any country, right? Don't rely on the medias, whether it's social media or regular, network television or cable news. You have to tap into your Lilith, and that's why it's so important. Lilith is exact with this Jupiter. It's in this trine, and then with Saturn and Neptune and Pisces, and what we're really talking about today, the Neptune, the Saturn is there to kind of calm the Neptune down. This is the last time we're having Neptune. It's a 165-year transit. So this is the last time for us, right? Unless, the Anunnaki come and all of our DNA, we go back from 2-strand to 12-strand DNA, and all of a sudden we're all living for 200 years, then maybe we'll be around for the next Neptune transit, God willing. But maybe some of you guys don't want to live, 200 years. I don't know if I'd want to be here that long myself. I'm here for 3 digits, but that just may be enough for me. So, but, really think of it though. Saturn is what? It's the karmic teacher. It's telling you that you have got to have, in Pisces, healthy boundaries. Pisces, you guys, there's no boundaries. The waters, the ocean, it's so deep, it's nebulous, it's wide open. Pisces can go anywhere, and it holds the wisdom and the knowledge of all 12 signs. This is why, I get on my pulpit about the whole sign system. Now, I don't knock the Placidus. Laura explained it beautifully last night in terms of using Placidus for the NDE transits and how it really works. But for me, the only issue that I have with the Placidus, right, let's say even in this chart, right, was like, oh, well, it skips a sign, and I don't have Sagittarius, right, and Gemini, because whenever they have interceptions in the Placidus, it's skipping the sister sign too. So that means you would repeat, like you don't have Sag and you don't have Gemini, so it may repeat Capricorn or repeat Scorpio in 2 houses, right? And so what a Placidus astrologer would tell you, it's hard for you to access that energy or whatever. But you guys know the moon goes through all 12 signs every month. We've got all these different asteroids. Juno's in Sagittarius now, so what? We can't access relationships, commitment, and marriage. So that's where I just feel it's kind of fugazi in that sense. But don't get me wrong, my mantra, I do not talk bad about other astrologers, and they're all just tools to getting to the truth. Whether you use Vedic sidereal, you use the equal house system in Western Tropical, Placidus, or whole sign, the astrologer, if they know what the heck they're doing, they're going to get to the truth for you. And that's what's most important, right? You can have things and but I would say this. I don't like when, it's hard for the Placidus astrologers to explain, right? If you got a Virgo ascendant, and you're telling me the fourth house is not Sagittarius, it's Scorpio, see, that throws it off for me because what? Mutable to mutable is the 90-degree angle of the square, right? The feminine, like sister signs, the sextile, 60-degree angle, right? The aspect rules don't change in Placidus. The aspects are the aspects. These are the rules of astrology. It's all about angles. It's mathematics, right? The universe is everything is about numbers, frequency, energy, vibration. So Virgo to Scorpio is a sextile. If you put it in the fourth house, that's illogical, right? Virgo to Scorpio is not a square. So that's my pet peeve. Being a Virgo, I can get a little anal about that. But you guys can understand why I would, because it just doesn't make sense, right? So, just take that with a grain of salt. But getting back to this 29th degree of the Libra sun, I think it's so important because it is hours away before it goes into Scorpio. But what's fascinating about it is that let's just look at it in the second house, right? We have Venus there at home. So Venus is our relationships and our finances. And Venus, why is it important in this story? Because it's exalted in Pisces. So Libra and Pisces have that 150-degree angle in conjunction, very unique relationships. And I feel that all the quincunxes, which is also known as the in conjunction, in relationships or friendships, they can form a very unusual, sometimes unhealthy bubble. But it's where the planets, they're not seeing each other clearly, so it can cause disruption or disease or disharmony, things like that. But it's not, the Venus is not quincunxing, the North Node, Saturn, or Neptune. But this Libra sun is at 29 degrees to Neptune. So this plays the story, right? So this is where we can see during this transit, because this snapshot is taking us from October 22nd to January 26th, we can literally see the dissolving of family relationships, more so for the Virgo rising, but for this energy of this chart, right? The Libra sun in conjunct the Neptune Pisces, okay? There's an opportunity for some deception in relationships, in contracts or negotiations. So these are certain things that it's really important for you to be aware of and just kind of keep that extra eye, that third eye, your intuition open for it. It's not saying that some, body you're dating or married to or a sibling or a friend is going to deceive you, but there's definitely a high opportunity because we're talking about the 29th degree. And this is going to have what? Our barter and trade system, tariffs affect our economy. Remember, stock market crashes. I had Lloyd Strayhorn on. In history, the stock market crashes have been in Libra season. 29th degree. That's the most acute, right? It's either 0 or 29, the most powerful points of the Libra. Because at 29, it's established and gotten all the Libra energy, and then it's just extremely explosive as it's switching signs, right? This is the cusp, the Libra-Scorpio cusp. That's the cusp of, criticism and drama, or drama and criticism, right? It's a very powerful cusp. And Juno, which is in Sagittarius, which I think is ironic because Sagittarius, I don't know if you guys are aware, is the bachelor-bachelorette sign. Sagittarius can stay single forever, and then number 2 is Virgo. Right? They don't need to be booed up. They don't need to be committed. They can be very loyal and stuff, but Sag, that's like the Don Juan. Okay? So with Juno being there now, and I say this because Juno is a mixture of Libra and Scorpio. Relationships, soul merging, commitment. Right? That's the energy of Juno, the asteroid for long-term relationships, commitment, and marriage. But it's in the bachelor sign. So it's almost like during this time period, you may see between October 22nd and January 26th, people that were single for 40, 50 years, and you never thought your friend or your girlfriend would get married. All of a sudden, boom, she finds somebody. She's been single. She's 51 and she's getting married. I'm getting married in March, or I'm getting married this year. I'm like, what? Who'd you meet? What? You're shocked. Those things can happen too. The problem is with Neptune and the Libra sun, you may not be seeing them clearly, right? Pisces in the 7th house. So this is where we have to step into our spiritual discernment, we have to have healthy boundaries. Saturn and Pisces, we want to have our spiritual discipline and practice, because what Neptune is coming here to test for the final time in this, we got November, December, January. So it's like basically like a 3-month transit. What it's coming to really test is, are you still being the crybaby victim in your life? Are you blaming everybody else except for like yourself? Are you still sitting there believing everything you hear on the news like it's gospel, or reading the newspapers? Oh, the Wall Street Journal said it, the New York Times said it, it must be true. Really? Really? At this point, right? We've experienced enough in history. We're all grown men and women that we can get to a place where we can almost agree that we've been lied to in every aspect of our lives for the majority of our lives. And so that's why I tell you to trust your intuition, to become your own media, right? The television. Remember, America's chart is a Sag rising. So the Pisces is the 4th house of your home, the television in your home, your emotional mind. Neptune coming back in, it's like you're going to see during this time, I feel like an increase in confusion and deception. A lot of double talk, a lot of back talk. Oh, this channel's saying this, the other channel's saying the total opposite. I mean, we've already had that for years. But if you think about it, it's kind of increased since when? 2011, 2012, when what happened? Neptune entered Pisces. That's the Twitter age. Twitter started in 2010, right? So think of just like, that's why you have to kind of like log these dates in your mind in history. And when the transit ends, sort of like '08 to 2024, Pluto Capricorn, you can like look back and be like, oh, wow, look at what Pluto did in Capricorn. It really changed all the structures in our society, right? We saw the veils of political, pharmaceutical, of the media, of entertainment, right? The financial system. We saw the crash. So we're kind of like realizing like, yeah, it's not that stable. These structures and systems are dissipating. And just so you know, it's supposed to happen. We're going through an age shift. And that's about a 400-year transition. So I can't tell you what year we are exactly in it, but ages are about 2,100 and I think 20 or 60 years. And this is why I always tell you, everybody's like, you'll hear everybody, oh, we're in the age of Aquarius. Not so fast. You know, when you're at the beach and the tide comes in and the sand is wet, you know, when your toes touch that wet sand, that's where we're at. We're here. We're brave, courageous souls to lay down the foundation. We're not even in the waters yet. And remember, it is Aquarius, a fixed air sign. But what is it? It's the water bearer. It's the waters of knowledge and spiritual awakening. Right? So just remember, we've got to step away from any victimhood. We've got to step away from confusion, deception, lying to ourselves, delusion. But with the Saturn is to cement the Neptune and to say, listen, you're coming up in here. I've been here before you. You're going to have to listen to some of my rules, even though Neptune has more power than Saturn, because Neptune's at home in Pisces. Now, I will say Saturn's in its planetary joy in the 12th house, not the same as Pisces, but associated with it. But Neptune wins this battle. But Saturn's got enough power, the karmic teacher, the last planet we see with our naked eye, to say, listen, Neptune, I want the collective to focus on healthy boundaries. I want them to stop being victims. I want them, because it's retrograding back, so it's wanting us to revisit, reassess, reanalyze what? How we've been lied to, how we've been deceived, to kind of change it and to correct it and transmute it. Does that make sense? So Saturn's like, listen, have you been meditating every day? If you haven't, I will kick your butt. Saturn is the karmic teacher. It does not play. When it's in Pisces, quite literally, you guys, you got to be taking care of your feet right now. If you're a Sag rising, you got to watch the plumbing in your house. Roof leaks, water leaks. Every Sag rising, okay? But also, if you're a Virgo rising, this is your kitchen, the 7th house. You can have plumbing and water leaks, your fridge leaking in your kitchen. So, that's really important to just understand, but to think about that some of this is very literal, tangible things for your physical dwelling, but also it's very spiritual, very mental. Pisces is the health axis and it's very mental. Quite literally, Pisces rules the feet and the toes. At this time, to January 26th, from October 22nd, take the time. Remember your feet. And look at this analogy. That's why Pisces holds the wisdom of all 12 signs. Hello, reflexology. Your toes and your feet, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, connect to every organ in your body, right? So get out of the shower or the tub, take the time. Put some lotion on your feet and just love on them. Mutt and Jeff, you walk on them every day. You stand on them. If you don't take care of your feet, for me, listen, it trips me out. Like, I don't know how people don't just sit down and take care of their feet, because I've been doing it my whole life. So even when I was in coma for 40 days and I woke up, the nurses were complimenting me, Mr. Taylor, you have the nicest feet we've ever seen. And I'm just laughing because I'm like, yeah, I've been taking good care of them suckers. They better look good, you know what I mean? But it's funny, but it's not, right? Because all of us know if you have problems with your feet, it's kind of like game over, right? It hurt. You can't walk, your toes, you get an ingrown toenail, like all that stuff. So Saturn, Neptune, right? You take care of that. I would say and recommend, honestly, we should all, obviously, I'm not a medical doctor, do, what you have to take, but this is the time to also drink more water, more natural spring water, increase eating the fruit, because that's how we get properly hydrated, the H3O, right? But also, I would make sure that I'm taking care of my feet at this time, but I would, if I can, decrease any pharmaceuticals and prescription medicine that you don't necessarily need to take. Right? So I've got still like an allergy prescription that I have. Maybe I can just do more herbal teas and not really take those pills during this transit. Does that make sense? So I want to open it up to questions and let you guys see the chart. The main thing, though, is this grand water trine. So that means literally, if you can only do 3 minutes a day, you do 3 minutes. But you guys, no days off. That's what Saturn and Pisces is telling you. And the Neptune's coming in. Saturn is like, listen, don't come in here and act a fool, right? I'm going to help you to help the collective tap into the spiritual realm. And that's why we have this grand water trine, right? This is literally for us to increase our spiritual gifts, but our manifesting skills as well. Because if you put in the discipline, structure, hard work, and you're organized, even the 3 minutes a day, the 5 minutes, the 7, build up to 10, 15, 20. Listen, there's some days where I can, there's some days where I can do 30 minutes of meditation. And then there's some days I got clients, I'm doing podcasts, I'm so busy, I get 3 to 5 minutes in. But the one thing I don't do is take a day off. And it's paid off for me. I'm not saying my life is perfect at this and that, but every little bit helps. And I'm the type of person as a Virgo, I'm super Virgo, super logical. I need like sort of proof or evidence. And I can tell you that since I've kind of made this change in my life of becoming more spiritual, I've got the Pisces North Node, right? And doing some sort of spiritual practice every day, my health, my body, my mental clarity, my third eye, everything just better, okay? Remember, we have the Uranus 0 degrees retrograde. That's going in. We already did that coffee talk, right? November 7th. I'll be putting that up soon too. November 7th, right? Goes back into Taurus till April 25th. So Uranus is what? Trining the Pluto, okay, in Aquarius. The Venus is not a part of the grand air trine right now because it's too far off, okay? But just think about Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, the 3 outer planets, and they're all shifting within the last few years, right? Pluto already in 2024, but it's there to 2044 in Aquarius. Saturn, Neptune, January, February in Aries for the next bunch of years. And then Uranus and Gemini will go back to Taurus, but then be in Gemini for the next 7 years. You're not the same after a Uranus transit. You're just not. because it's getting you aligned with your soul's path. And honestly, you guys, Uranus, I have to thank it. It made me so terribly sick when it was in Aries, the Uranus opposition for me, which is the midlife crisis, usually 40 to 47, 42 to 49, just depending on your chart, right? But what is it going to do? It will do whatever it needs to get you to remember and to awaken to who you are and who you're supposed to be. If it has to put you in a wheelchair, it will. If it has to make you bedridden, it will. It literally made me, with the Valley Fever 2013, sick as a dog. And that's how I came to start researching medical astrology, then taking classes, reading books. And then I'm like, oh my God, I should take this class with this one teacher. I think I'm going to be an astrologer. I was like, okay, and then boom, Uranus Aries. I owe it a great debt. I'm like, thank you. It doesn't feel good when you go through it though. So I just want my Uranus Taurus people to stay focused on the work they've done in the last 7 years, and Uranus Gemini people, especially Uranus Sag people. And if you are Gemini rising, right, we've talked about that with Quintella and any other Gemini risings here, get ready. You're not going to be the same. And your mantra has to be, I am comfortable with being uncomfortable. Okay? So, any questions, and then we'll kind of go around to your different ascendants. But just remember, if it was me, the one thing that I would say with Neptune and Pisces, I would tend to, during this transit, either listen to more high vibrational music or listen to more instrumental and high frequency, love frequency, classical, jazz, Beethoven, Bach. I mean, even if you've never listened to it before, this would be the time to do it, because this is where you're connecting into the alpha, beta, theta, delta, gamma. You're connecting to copper. You're doing intermittent fasting. You're doing a parasite cleanse. You're doing detox. You want to kind of work with the planetary energies that support you to make these shifts and changes that maybe you've never done before, to try it now from October 22nd to January 26th, because it's going to make this transition to these new energies a little more better for you. Okay? So any questions, you guys? And then we can go around to your different ascendants. Anything you're seeing with these, energies, or any questions in particular about any of these placements?
Eric, do you know how long Neptune stays in Pisces for?
Yeah, it was there since came in late 2011, and it's leaving in 2026. So for each sign, it can be somewhere between 14 and 16 years. I guess for this, it's literally going to be like around, 14 and a half, almost 15 years. So it's been there for a while. And if you notice, right, people are having sort of social media and media burnout. Right? TV ratings are down for everything. You have more streaming. That's all Neptune. Neptune it gets into software, it gets into, spiritual realms, but it gets into film and photography. So I think that one thing you'll see with Neptune going into Aries, and it's there to 2039, there's going to be like a lot of new things, like maybe a new musical platforms, more sovereignty, artists selling their stuff direct to consumer, not being slaves to the record labels, a new version of Hollywood, more independent films, right? Pluto, Aquarius, Uranus, Gemini. Everybody's got the technology to make a movie. People make movies with cell phones, right? So this is what's going to continue to happen, and good for, me and all the other spiritual practitioners out there. Pluto, Aquarius, Uranus, Gemini, people are going to be more into this billion-dollar industry of spirituality. And you'll see, people still will joke and tease about it, but pretty soon, astrology and numerology, you've already seen in the last 5-6 years more commercials, right? Certain commercials where people are talking about, ayahuasca or meditating or going on a spiritual retreat. You'll see these little commercials and these little things. Well, it's going to start to be like, not the brunt of a joke, because they're still kind of joking a little about astrology and this and that. It's going to be more like, no, this is legit, and this makes sense. It's logical, it's mathematical, it's real, right? So you're already seeing it, but it's going to increase so much more. Have you felt that, being a Pisces rising? Have you noticed that since 2011, 2012?
I don't know.
It's hard because you're
Felt
already like,
like
go ahead, I'm sorry.
certainly felt I mean, there's been a really big change. But when I think about like media and television, all that kind of thing, like there's been a really, really big change in my attitude towards it and my feeling about it and how I consume it, and especially around the news, like just, yeah. So I think I've been in like almost a bit of an avoidance kind of feeling,
Yeah.
especially with the news. Yeah, so yeah, that's yeah, kind
And
of
and what you'll notice with the Saturn during this transit, you'll see where you're like, Saturn conjunct Neptune, it brings in a reality check. It asks the question, what's real? Is this
mm,
real? Right? And so the Saturn will bring somewhat clarity, where you're like,
mm,
oh my gosh, I've been lied to. Oh my God, The Simpsons predict everything. Oh my God, the movies are showing us the real truth, and we're thinking that it's just a movie. You know what I mean? It's going to bring in a reality check. So this is very powerful. But for you and Janice being Pisces risings, this is where, the Neptune on the ascendant, you're already Neptunian, right? You're already like an alien, a shapeshifter. You're already like so spiritually inclined. It's just the Neptune intensifies that. And so the Saturn for this last dance is kind of bringing a reality to like you really are the magic. You are the media. You are the mermaid. You are the shapeshifter. But now use it to your benefit. Right? So increase your spiritual practice and discipline, and trust that you do have, like in your pouch or on your side, this little pixie dust of magic. Because Pisces risings are magic, right? The two most unique and most rare ascendants are Pisces and Aries. Aries is the most authentic ascendant, and I'd say Aquarius is second, right? But Pisces and Aries, there's just less of those two rising signs. And Pisces is definitely the most spiritual and magical. All the water signs are very psychic and intuitive, especially on the ascendant, which is your physical appearance, your outer mass, your aura, and you may see or have noticed like people are perceiving you different since 2012. You know what I mean? They're seeing you to be a little bit more like, oh, she's like poetry. She's magical. You know what I mean? So, but hopefully with the North, see, this is such an intense combo because the North Node is Rahu, right? It has no stomach, no tail. It just eats. It's a head. It's like, it just wants. It consumes. And, sorry, okay, just checking. So it's never satisfied. So this is one thing with the Libra Sun, quincunxing the Neptune, and the North Node being there. This could be an overindulgence in shopping and then also in relationships where people are like, I need more. Like sister wives, right? I want 2, 3 wives, right? I want 3 girlfriends. I want 4 boyfriends. We could have that effect as well. So we have to be careful of that too, because, Neptune does get into like the sort of 12th house bedroom, sex, dreams, fantasies too. I think that Saturn will calm that down a little bit because Saturn kind of restricts things, at the same time. And I think what's ironic about it, remember we got this dance here. I told you about the in conjunction. Remember, Libra, the ruler Venus, is exalted in Pisces, agape Christ-like love. Libra is exalted in Saturn, right? So there's something interesting going on that I'm going to be honest, I haven't quite figured out yet in terms of what we could see in this transit, but I think there's going to be dissolving of some of the legal system, maybe even the Constitution, right? In our country, they're talking about the voters' rights, civil rights, right? And years ago, there was this young poet, this young MC in the 90s. He wrote about, that your rights to vote can go away and it could be amended and be no one day. So who's to say or who's to know, right? Aliens have been here since the pyramid, Joe. This guy called E Complete wrote about that. And so it's coming up now. You know what I mean? And it's just funny for me because a lot of my rhymes have been very prophetic in that sense. But literally, that's what they're talking about right now, the Supreme Court, right? And you're seeing that with all these shifting of, gerrymandering with, where people can vote and be, you're seeing that in California, Texas. Now they're trying to do it in, I think, Missouri and a couple other states. So that Libra, Pisces, Saturn, Neptune, Sun, Venus, there's a story there. And it's going to play out in an interesting way. So just pay attention to that. But this could also in some ways dissolve the government's, some of their powers too. So that's what I'm saying. It can play both ways. We really just don't know. Because remember, the fish, Pisces, they go two different directions. Right? So this is where people are dissolving the importance of the government or seeing the real deception of the government, but also it could be dissolving some of the laws. Saturn's law and order. It's stress, fear, and anxiety. The question is, right, are we ready? And this is why at this time you've got to increase your spiritual practice, because we have to be ready to not rely on my government, my daddy, my CNN, Fox, Wall Street Journal, ABC, NBC, CNN, PBS, whatever, my daddy, right? And this is very hard for people as they're waking out of the matrix, right? I always say this, some of the hardest things for human beings to do is what? To apologize, say they're sorry, admit to being wrong, or admit to living wrong. That's the hardest one, right? You've been going down the wrong road. But the good thing is the car can stop, it has brakes, and the wheel can turn, and you can turn and go a different way. But that's hard. That's people in the dark in their home, in the 12th house, in their bedroom, sitting there talking to themselves, mumbling like, I can't believe I've been played. I can't believe I've been lied to my whole life. I can't believe I fell for this label. I fell for this person. I fell for this reality. But that's the split on this planet, right? Nobody's ascending and leaving. It's the 3D, 5D, but it's the split on the same earth. So when you're vibrating in the 5D and you're staying in the heart chakra of love and gratitude and joy and being your true authentic self, you may not deal with the vitriol. Oh, troops are going to Chicago, or this is happening here, and this in the streets. You'll be like, oh, it's sunny and peaceful in my block. But that's because that's what you chose. So this is where we have the power. Does that make sense? Like we all have tremendous power. Saturn, Neptune, you're not a victim. You have the power and the control. You just have to awaken and be aware of it. Okay? And so when you think of the 29th degree, Libra, the lowest point of the most important planet in one sense, they're all equal in some sense, but the sun is your I am. It's your vitality, your purpose, your confidence. Well, when it's at the 29th degree of Libra, it's like, you're like nothing. I mean, not literally, but like it's going to be the lowest it can be is the 29th degree of Libra, right? Worse than Aquarius, 29th degree. Because Aquarius is just debilitated. Libra is in its fall. So, really, part of this is also realizing that you do need to have self-love before you have anything else. That's why Venus is there back at home in Libra. right? This is why Saturn is with Pisces for this transit. And when they make that exact conjunction, which we'll be talking about in the early coffee talk of February, Saturn, Neptune, and Aries at 0 degrees exact conjunction on February 20th. Ooh, get your popcorn ready. This is where you're just like, you will say to yourself, I'm not dealing with any more BS anymore. I'm done. And this is with, relationships, people in your life, a job, a boss, or this, or, just a neighbor that talks smack and, they play their music too loud, but you never say anything. Yeah, that's going to change come February 20th. Because Aries is brave and courageous. Aries doesn't play the victim stuff. Aries is like, I said no. I'm telling you to stop. I'll do it myself. Aries doesn't ask for permission. If you guys, any of you guys are Aries or Aries, my father was an Aries, Aries doesn't play. If they step on your toes to get where they got to go, they didn't do it on purpose. But if you're in their way, then, peace be with you. Aries has got to go. They got to make it happen. They're not asking for permission. So when you have Saturn and Neptune, Neptune's there to 2039. Saturn's there to 2029. It is literally bringing in a new reality, a new sovereignty, a new strength. I really think that's why Chiron's been in Aries, and it stays in Aries the longest transit, by the way. And it goes into Taurus, which I think it's in the second longest there, and in 2026. Okay? So, you see the setup. What are you guys thinking? Because we're going to be winding down. Anybody want to share? Obviously, I'll just go around. We kind of talked about the Pisces, and so there's going to be more about your aura and spiritual practice. I know we have a Gemini rising here. That's your 10th house. This is about how you are, your career, your legacy, your public image. You're going to have to guard your spiritual energy and do the cleansing when you come back home. If you haven't had that healthy spiritual hygiene practice, you've got to implement it during this time. When you come home, you got to transmute out the energy, woo-saw it out, wash your hands, your face, put on your house clothes every time you go out, every day. And have healthy boundaries at work or just anywhere outside in the jungle. The 10th house is the jungle. Neptune, North Node, and Saturn there. You're going to have boundaries because what? The Neptune is going to come in at the 29th degree and people will test the boundaries. They will test it. And the Saturn is there to help you say, no, that's inappropriate. No, thank you. No. I'm not going out for drinks after work. No. And nowadays, I would never go anywhere and have a drink and not have my drink with me the whole time. Don't ever leave your drink unattended, especially the ladies. But nobody should do that, okay? What other ascendants we have here?
Aries.
You're Aquarius?
Aries.
Oh, Aries. Okay, so then that's your 12th house. So this is where it's a good time to implement the dream book, right? Because when you have the North Node, Neptune, and Saturn in your 12th house, you've got real access to the spiritual realm, your spirit guides, your higher self, your guardian angels, your ancestors. And Saturn says, be disciplined. Have a routine at night. Don't just fall asleep with the TV on and you're half on the bed and all no. Be intentional. I'm going to bed. I'm cutting off the technology and the cell phone at least 30 minutes before I go to sleep. Maybe I go outside, get a little bit of moonlight or not, that can help. But you have a routine. You can get your Pisces crystals, clear quartz, amethyst, whatever you find, whatever you want to get, and put it under your pillow or put it in the bed with you. But implement a new spiritual practice, right? It's going to be beneficial. Because I'm telling you guys, with these new transits and new energies coming in 26, you better have your spiritual muscles on 10. And it's not any fear. It's always faith over fear. But I can't, with any good mind or goodwill, not tell you to be prepared, because you'd rather be prepared than be like, oh my God, what just happened and I'm not prepared, right? And so that's mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I always tell you, right, as a Virgo, I'm prepared for 3-4 rainy days. But I've had them happen in my life, and it didn't crumble me because I was prepared. A lot of people would have crumbled. I mean, you got to imagine, I got sick in 2013. I wasn't able to work. I could have lost my home and everything if I wasn't disciplined financially and had literally the rainy day fund and all that stuff. Okay? That's how sick I got. Uranus and Aries, it kicked my butt. That valley fever was no joke. Now we got Gale with Taurus rising. So with Taurus rising, right, you're dealing with the Pisces in the 11th house. This is around the internet, groups, organizations, your friends, your social network. You have to have boundaries with them, older siblings, whatever, because the one thing that you've got to realize is that with this, you're not alone. This is literally having the knowledge is love tribe, right? Connecting with your tribe. Because you in the 11th house, you don't want to be alone. You can have help with your spiritual discipline and practice. You can connect and have a meditation partner or just get insight and information from others. Because the 11th house is the internet. It's groups and organizations, in person or over the technology. But this can help you to still manifest your hopes, dreams, and wishes. With this grand water trine, you guys, seriously, put in the work on the 21st and 22nd. Go be your own miniature Buddha or guru and sit there for like as long as you can and tone and meditate and breath work in and out of the nose, mindfulness, stillness, journaling. Do it all. Because you've got the support in such a magical way. The shift from Libra to Scorpio season, the shift of Neptune to Pisces, the shift of this grand water trine with the great benefic in its exalted sign of Cancer. I mean, listen, don't go small with your dream. Like, yeah, I'm gonna manifest a new home. If you don't believe it, it can't happen. So start believing it. They say fake it till you make it. Well, believe it. Like, why not me? So take that mentality, get in the mirror, positive affirmations. Now, I would love for you to do it straight from October 22nd to January 26th. But if nothing else, the 21st and 22nd with this grand water trine, oh, you better do it. You got all the support. You'd be crazy not to. And use the 369 method. Your desires, your hopes, your dreams with gratitude. Write it down 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, 9 times at night. Tesla. And I'm talking to me just as much as I'm talking to you. I need to do it. Okay? Now, who else? What other ascendants we have? Don't be shy. Erica, what sign are you? Anybody else? Your rising sign? Or you guys can tell me what house your Pisces is in?
I am my Pisces is in the 9th house. And I'm a Cancer rising.
Oh, yeah. So that Jupiter on the ascendant. Ooh, this is your time, girl. Okay. So what are you doing? You're whether it's new education, vacations, manifesting that you're like, you know what, Erica, stop playing. You got a book to write. Get your book going, right? Manifest new beliefs, new philosophies, right? Erica's law. What's the law that you're implementing in your life? The spiritual law, the boundaries, right? You got to tell your spouse, your friends, your kids, your family, like, listen, Mama Erica, I need my 30 minutes. I'm closing my door. Y'all don't bother me. I'm meditating. Set the boundaries, set the law. This is the time. The 9th house is the abundance, fortune, and luck. It locks the blessings of the ascendant, and having Jupiter on your ascendant until like June 30th, this is a great time for you. And then you're going to have the moon in the 5th for creativity. Do you have children, Erica?
Yes, I have 2 boys.
Okay, yeah. So this is a great time. You're going to be super protective over them at this time. especially Halloween, right? But just in general, even their education, or if they're even older, high school, college, right? Because you're going to have Scorpio, Moon, Mars, Mercury, and Lilith. So you'll be super empathic. You may even have a vision and be like, no, you don't need to go out tonight. Nope, you ain't going nowhere. You staying home. Why, Ma? Why, Ma? Because I said so. I'm feeling something. Just indulge me. Mama knows better than you. Keep your butt at home. Okay? Because this is where we have to trust our intuitions, trust your feelings. Jupiter on your ascendant in Cancer, you are becoming more softer and walk into your divine feminine. Your emotional intelligence is off the chart. And when you feel something, oh yeah, it's right. Don't doubt yourself. It is definitely on point, right? And Jupiter is there. And this is the time with the Jupiter on the ascendant in Cancer for you to speak your truth. Share your knowledge. Share your wisdom, beliefs, and philosophies. None of us should be playing small at this time. That's over. And these aren't just words like just some pep talk. This is what's happening with the energy. And you can't hold back on, well, this is what I've always done. So, it's a new time. It's a new you. Even if you've never done it before, try something new because you've got the spiritual and astrological support to literally boost yourself into a new reality. A new version of yourself that you never even imagined, right? And reintroduce yourself to yourself. Okay, we'll do Scorpio rising. I don't know if we have anybody here with that except for me, but Scorpio rising, Mars, Lilith on that ascendant, and then you got the Pisces in the fifth. This is doing things creatively from your heart, right? But having the spiritual discipline also with your children. Okay? And setting up healthy boundaries, right? This is where, my wife gets on me, but I do it, but I forget sometimes. I've got to be like, okay, you come home from school, hand over the iPhones, finish your homework, you get it back for a little bit to play with, and then I do this every night. They have to return it to me before they go to bed. Because these kids nowadays, they'll just fall asleep with their phones in their hands playing on the stuff. You could be like, no, I'm not having that. And your brain just turned to mush. But this is the real pandemic and epidemic in America. This is why the school teachers are all over TikTok and Instagram crying for help. Because the parents are not doing their job. These kids are addicted to the technology. They're like crackheads. You have to take it out of their hands. And listen, as the adults, we're not much better. We've got to do the same. I put my phone on the do not disturb and airplane mode every night. I'm like, pfft. And the phone will ring. I don't go running I'm not a slave to my phone like that. My wife will be like, your phone's ringing. I'm like, so the machine will get it. I don't have to go get it. You got to have that mentality. And all of you, right? I do it because my vision's already poor. But even for y'all with your, little perfect 20/20 vision, you better protect your eyes. This blue light on the smart TVs, on these computers and the phones, it is destroying your eyes. And messing with your pineal gland. Please get on the lenses, the blue light coating protection, even if it's regular glasses or reading glasses. Sometimes I don't look directly at the phone. I look to the side at it sometimes, right? And I always talk on speaker. I never put the phone in my head. Like, this is just regular hygiene stuff we all have to do. Any other ascendants before we get ready to go? Do we have any Sag risings here or anybody else?
I'm Sag rising. I just got here, so.
Okay, girl. All right. Well, listen, this is your fourth house. And so this is really about the lineage, right? You talk about it all the time, right? About the Choctaw and the different, Cherokee and the different, really indigenous. And this is something we got to, consider, right? We have to call ourselves who we are. We're not African American or black, right? We are different indigenous American Indians. But this is you getting into your mother's lineage, but more importantly, your emotional mind. And protect yourself in your home with what you are ingesting. Music, movies, television, and you'd be like, ooh, I can't watch this ratchet movie right now. It's not going to serve me. and especially the 21st and 22nd, but really this whole transit till January 26th. I was saying
Hey,
earlier.
Eric,
Go ahead. What'd you say?
can you adjust the chart so it looks like Sag rising? 'Cause I don't know if that's what you were doing before. I might
No,
be.
no, 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 no. The Sag
Okay.
rising would be here in the first house, and the Pisces would be in the fourth. But I can't switch it because that will change the
Oh,
whole alignment of the
okay, I got
planets.
you. I got you.
But yeah, so just imagine the North Node, Saturn, and Neptune are down here on your fourth. That's your home, your emotional mind, your lineage, right?
North Node, Saturn, and Pisces.
Yes,
No, no,
ma'am.
no. North Node, Saturn,
And Neptune.
and
And Neptune.
Neptune.
Yeah.
Oh,
And just remember with this Libra sun at the 29th degree, there's something about deception through relationships. It's quincunxing in conjunction Neptune to the Libra sun. So
okay.
that can be negotiations and contracts, right? For Saturn
Mm-hmm.
rising, that could be something with an older sibling or some sort of contract with an organization, or if you're part of a nonprofit, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
something, or sometimes we pay for these streaming things. I always see those little advertisements on IG when they come up to you with the, I don't know if it's like not Acorn, something like, oh, how many streaming services you have? And people are like, oh, I just got 4, and it turns out they got like 11. Like we gotta watch it. Like right now, Alana's like watching more Apple TV, so we're gonna shut off the Netflix for a while. Why are we just giving away money if we're not watching it, right?
Yeah.
We got to be mindful of our stuff. So that's really important for you with this 11th house, where the Libra will be, the Sun and Venus.
Sun and Venus are there in Libra.
Yeah.
So,
And we have a grand water trine. So this is an important time, Mama Miss. I was saying to really hone in manifesting in our spiritual discipline and practices. Jupiter, Cancer, Mercury, Mars, Lilith, Saturn, Neptune, grand water trine. It's very powerful. Don't take it lightly and try to increase your spiritual practice. The one thing I don't want you to do is take a day off. If one day you only got 3 minutes, that's fine. The next day you could do 15, that's fine. But don't be
yeah.
like, oh my God, I'm just too busy. I'm not going to meditate Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Don't do that. Don't do that. Not with
Yes.
this transit. Do not do that. Do a little something, even for as you getting up in the bed. Just say, do a little toning. You could tone on your pillow, be like, and just say gratitude, thank you, God, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, Yeshua, whatever, and stay in gratitude. Listen to some high vibrational music. YouTube's got 3 to 5 minute guided meditations. Like, just do it. I mean, honestly, 2025, you guys, and we're about to get to 2026. We have no excuses. There's no reason that we can't do something every day to be connected to our higher selves. But think about it like this, especially for you, Mama Miss, the 4th house, to connect to our ancestors. They are right here around us. Just imagine, like, they're like, wow, she's ignoring me. She can't feel me, move the room. She can't see me, give her these angel numbers. You don't think their feelings aren't getting hurt?
Yeah.
Let's think of it like that.
Yeah. So I've been thinking more, and I was actually late because I was literally cleaning my room.
There you go. That's good.
Um, and I had a Capricorn helping me.
Uh-huh. Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with
So
that.
Capricorn to Saturn, Saturn, 4th house.
Yeah.
She's helping me with,
Discipline. Yeah.
yeah.
Discipline and boundaries. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And it's
remember, the Neptune can create the escapism. And the one
right.
thing I said earlier, this may be very important, right? Remember, I'm not a doctor. And if there's certain prescriptions you have to take, you take them. If there's some that are not super necessary, give it a break till January 26th. Because with
Mhm.
Neptune at the 29th degree, this is where some of the pharmaceuticals that are supposed to help us can turn to not help us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Neptune is disease, Pluto's virus. So let's not forget that either, you guys. And Saturn can bring in, just like it did with that big great conjunction during COVID. It was Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto, and then Mars came and activated it. That's what was going on. So Saturn could be like pestilence. Neptune's actual disease, but Saturn could be like pestilence. And remember, for you, Mama Miss, this can bring water leaks and the mole in the home. Saturn, Neptune. You could have
Saturn,
issues with the
Neptune.
piping and the roof.
Yeah. and I'm
Okay.
trying to. So that's what I'm working on, trying getting stuff clear, and
Okay.
you know, just cleaning out stuff or whatever, and making the phone calls and doing the research or whatever to
Okay.
get the quotes and see, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because some of these people are what's your word, fugazi. They've been fugazi, you
Yes.
know.
You have to be
Um,
very careful because they will say, "Oh, we can do this," and they didn't touch a thing.
yeah, and I've been through that, so
Okay.
I'm trying to fix what I tried to fix already 4
Okay.
years ago.
Right. I get
So
it.
yeah,
So, but just remember, you guys, at the end of the day, this transit is to help us to see how we have been deceived since 2011 and the whole age of Pisces, and to bring us more clarity and say, this isn't real, this is real. Saturn conjunct Neptune, right? Pisces can be very confused, it can be very deceived, but when it has that clarity and wisdom, it is such a powerful and pure sign. It's like all knowing. So the Saturn is there to help you with implementing the spiritual practice and discipline to bring you more clarity when it goes into Aries. And then you're like, whoa, I got a new head and a new attitude and I'm more sovereign and I'm going to be more brave and courageous and I'm ready for whatever. Does that
and
make sense?
also also getting like the discipline as far as going after your dreams, right? Because the
Yes,
Saturn is
ma'am.
coming into Pisces. It's like a regular routine into manifesting your dreams.
That's
You,
right.
you did you catch it? It made me poet. That's that Mercury and Pisces. It made me poet. I wasn't trying to poet just then, but regular
No, you're
routine to
right.
manifest your
It,
dreams.
it's it's powerful and that's good. And you're right because that's what I was talking about earlier before you came with this Jupiter and Cancer, the Mars, Mercury, Lilith, and Saturn, Neptune. Let's not be little anymore. Let's be big with our dreams, be big with who we are, because it's getting ready for us to have Saturn, Neptune conjunction February 20th to become more brave and courageous, to become more independent, independent films, more sovereignty, more I am energy. That's why we've had during this most of this transit Chiron and Aries to heal those wounds where we did not properly initiate and assert ourselves. We got to stop playing small. We're big. We're freaking giants.
Biggie, now that you're saying all that,
Yeah.
I'm looking back, and literally everything that you're saying is just lining up like to
Yeah.
the dot. Yeah.
Man. Think about it.
Yeah.
And so this is a great, it's almost like a great reset, but a great opportunity for us to kind of like walk into 2026 and be like, no more. I'm not settling anymore. I'm not going to just like do my old habits and routines. I'm going to become the best version of myself. You've got the astrological support, but you also know it's go time. Come on, none of us are naive. The world is freaking crazy right now. You got to keep your head on a swivel, right? It's not a joke out there. And so building up your spiritual muscles can help you avoid the 3D drama and BS and mess. I don't want nothing to do with that world. Every time I take a trip into the Matrix, I look at it like Candyland. I'm like, look at what's going on here. Oh my God, these people, it seems so weird to me. I'm in my little spiritual cocoon and I love it. I want nothing to do with that. I'm like, ooh, it's messy out here. I'm like, ooh, but that's how you got to view it. It's like saying I am not of the world. You know what I mean? Like I'm a part of the world. I'm not in or of the world. Like church folks used to say. Like think of it. Like for real. Like you don't want to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
Let them have their debauchery and let them have their escapism and their foolishness. Let them, be high on whatever they're high on. Like you need to be high on your spiritual abilities and your gifts because Uranus trine Pluto, and when Uranus goes back into Gemini for 7 years, man, with these energies and these transits, you have no idea who you could become by 2034.
Yeah.
You could be walking around pointing at stuff and fire comes out your hands. Like, you have no idea what you could do. Shoot. But that's the thing. Don't play small anymore and don't think or dream small. All right, you guys. Have a good one. I'll send this out later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, you guys. Bye.